Hi, I'm Vince Stefan. This is the Vince Show. It's the inaugural show, the flagship show, the fruition of what you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for this moment. You probably haven't been waiting for this moment, and it's okay if you haven't. I haven't been waiting. You know what? Let me tell you a secret. See, I'm starting off with secrets. That should make you trust me. I just thought of this idea today. Okay? Today. I've been an avid listener of talk shows and radio shows, and I'm not just saying talk shows like I'm not talking about The View, okay? I'm not talking about little spinny shows that talk about things that really don't matter. I'm talking about real shows that matter. I listen to NPR. Radio shows I listen to, anything that has to do with current events that people talk with an intelligent, unbiased, I really like. Even if they have a bias, I like to hear other people's opinions, even if they're small, seemingly, insignificant, seemingly. I think everybody has an opinion that's worth sharing. Just as long as you're not trying to hurt anyone, cause violence, hate. Even if it's okay to hate. Let's say if I put this video out and this actually makes it into the cut, and you hate me. You say, "Oh man, that guy, you should really think of just working at McDonald's or something." Then that's fine. It hurts me. It pains me to hear you say that. But, take it with a grain of salt and you keep on moving. This is the inaugural show. Just like I said, my name is Vince Stefan. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to try to tell you in 1 minute. I grew up in Michigan. I moved to Virginia when I was 2 or so. I spent the first years in the hospital of my life, so I don't remember Michigan. I don't think I remember it anyway because I was just, born and I moved when I was 2. So my first thoughts, my first real conscious awakening was in Virginia. So I say that I was raised in Virginia because I don't remember Michigan when I was a child. Anyway, my dad was in the military, my mom worked for the government. They did a decent job raising me. I made it to however old I am, and I'm here in this undisclosed location doing this show for you. So I think that's all you really need to know about me. Okay, stop asking. Basically, the show is going to be about current events. I don't really want to say it's going to be like a news show, because we're not really going to talk about news. I don't really like to say news. All I know is that I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm not calling it news. It may be news. This may be the only way you get news. Who knows? Anyway, I spent about 5 minutes rambling on about myself and about the inaugural. Oh, and it is the inaugural show. Did I tell you that? And for the inaugural show, I'm going to crack a beer for you. That is warm. Let's take another swig, though, because I'm an alcoholic. I want to talk about December 21st, 2012. Yeah, that's going to be the first topic. And you want to know why it's going to be the first topic? Because it's the biggest event going on. Let me give you a little history lesson. 25,920 years. Okay, that's a precession period. That's how long, okay, 13 great years take. You know how long a great year is? 2,160 years. That's how long the Mayan calendar is. Now, they said, they only made one of the Mayan calendar, and the Mayan calendar stops at December 21st, 2012. Well, I was thinking, just the other day, I was thinking, well, maybe they only need to make one. Because if that's how long a great year is, then you just start back over. It was a big calendar. You don't know what civilization, what part of the civilization. You probably broke into their government Oval Office, and found that thing. You don't know. You don't know. Excuse me. Excuse me again. This is beer. This is beer. It's the inaugural beer. It's the inaugural show. And we're drinking an inaugural beer. So 25,920 years it took. Basically, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it took to get to this point because this is the 11th hour. We're heading into the next precession year. That's exciting to me. That's why I feel it is the first thing that I should talk about in the inaugural show. This beer is almost gone. Let me tell you what. This inaugural beer is kicking me to the curb. The Earth, Sun, and the middle of the galaxy are going to align. 93 million miles away, the Sun is from us. Now, the middle of the universe is a very, very large number in the quadrillions. Okay? Far enough away to where people think that there isn't going to be anything significant happening on December 21st, 2012. Well, that's easy to say. That's easy to say. Well, the distance means that nothing relevant is going to happen, right? That's easy to say. It's easy to say that nothing's going to happen. The galactic alignment, okay? The Earth, Sun, middle of the galaxy. They're going to align, and some people think that, they're going to have superpowers on that day. The big astrological bodies are going to, celestial bodies are going to align, and all of a sudden they're going to be able to lift cars and fly and stuff. Some people think that they're going to have six senses. Their third eye is going to open and it'll be able to move stuff, telekinesis, things like that. Some people think that people are going to have negative emotion. People are just going to randomly start doing crazy things and not know why. They're going to have weird feelings, and just lash out or do things that they don't normally do. Odd things are going to happen. And, of course, some people think it's going to be the apocalypse. It's going to be the end. Catastrophic events are going to happen. Earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, hail, thunderstorms, all at the same time, tsunamis. Just the world's going to end. The world as we know it. Because we're not going anywhere. What would you do if there was an apocalypse? If there was a catastrophic event that wiped out, let's just say, 80% of the population. Now, 80% of the population, there's about 7 billion people on the planet. So let's say 80 billion, or 80% of the population 1 billion. That's a lot of people. I think that will leave about 1 billion people. I think it would be worse than that. You know, you got to think about people, really. You know, in masses, and how people congregate to big cities, how people panic, children. What would happen? You know, and what would you do? What would you do in that situation? What would happen to you? Are you prepared for that? Do you know? I don't know. I mean, I got a kind of a plan. I know exactly, like, if December 20th rolls around and there's an earthquake in Kansas. There's an earthquake, so there's something pops off somewhere where something doesn't normally pop off. Hurricane in Quebec. Then I might implement my plan, and my plan is pretty simple, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. But are you prepared? Are you prepared for that? Do you feel the need to prepare? That's another question. Do you even think it's going to happen? Do you think anything's going to happen on 2012? Because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just going to think that it's just going to be another day, and you know what? It might just be another day, but I think it's going to be an eventful day. Where would you go if something catastrophic happened? Where would be the ideal place to go if something catastrophic happened? What would you do first? What would be the first thing that you did? Like, let's say it happened at about 2:30. Let's say December 21st. Kids might be out of school by that time. It depends on when the weekend is or whatever. I know they try, if it falls on a weekend, kids won't go to school Monday. So if December 21st is on a weekend, kids aren't going to go to school Monday all the way until, the next year? It's the inaugural show. Anywhere in the center would be the safest place. Even if there's earthquakes there, even if there's tornadoes, even if the climate is bad, you have a better chance of living than trying to live through a tsunami, trying to live through flood, things of that nature. So you would definitely fare better in the middle of your country or your continent. And those are just a couple of things to think about, regarding 2012. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I spent way more time than I wanted to on it. Let's talk about the music industry. The music industry, okay? What's the direction of music, do you think? What is the direction of the music that we listen to today? Is it good? Is it bad? Are we dumbing ourselves down to listen to? Are we using music to fill a void of taboo? Are we using music like we use television? To fill some sort of void. We used to use music to enhance, to enlighten, to enforce. We're really not using it for that. We're using it to dull our senses now. Why are we doing that? Is new music? Do you prefer newer music or do you prefer older music? I myself, I like newer songs. Sometimes, when I cruise down to the beach or whatever, I like listening to new songs. I like when girls look at me and stuff like that. But, I did. I have to admit that I did. But now, I really don't care about what kind of music I listen to. I really like old music. I do like old music. I like older, maybe like mean, music from from 13 to maybe 30 years ago. And do you think that, music, well, I like older music because it seemed like there was more of a message. There was more, I hate to say this, quote-unquote, music in music that long ago. There was more music. There isn't too much music. Music lost its classic feel. I mean, in order to get music that feels classic, you can't look to rock. You can't look to pop. You can't look to rap. I mean, what music is classic right now? I mean, you got to look to your older styles of music to find something classic. Find something that stands the test of time. I mean, I like the song by 2 Chainz and Drake, No Lie. I like that song. But 5 years, 10 years down the road, nobody's going to care about that song. Are we going to keep feeding into the instant gratification of music? Are we going to keep doing that? Artists have a responsibility to their listeners, I think. But they also have a bigger responsibility to the business. And that's where it gets lost. If they make the business people happy, the business people will make you happy. That's the way it is. I think it's a bad way to market music, but hey, I'm not a good musician, so I'm not a good singer, I'm not a good writer when it comes to music, so who cares what I think? In theory surrounding the music business, now I've heard everything from music is like the music business is owned by corporations. The music business is funded by the government. I've heard everything from the music business uses propaganda to get people more to listening to it, to dull their senses, the powers that be can do what they need to do. I've heard everything under the sun. The Illuminati controls the music industry. I've heard it all. Changed the lighting situation just a little bit. Made sure that made sure everything was coming through a little clearer. Just covered music industry, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that new music is bad at all. I love new music, but I think that a lot of new artists give way to instant gratification, and I don't know if I said that already, but they do. Moving on, let's discuss for a second politics. Now, to me, doesn't it seem like this political season is just kind of weird? I don't know. I don't really watch TV that much anymore. I watch it every once in a while, and I may check out a clip of something that's like hilarious. And I do have favorite shows. I don't really watch them on TV. Usually watch them on the internet. But anyway, it just seems odd to me that this political season, there's always some kind of weird thing coming out about some political person that or some political saying that's out of context, and I guess in a way that is the norm in politics. For some reason, it just seems a little stranger to me. There's a different air. There's a lot more tension, and I think the issues are actually being brought to the forefront, and I think people are tired of the rhetoric, and they want actual answers. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. People want actual answers. They're sick of the rhetoric. I mean, think about it. I mean, Obama said that he is going to create more jobs. Now, how does the president create more jobs? There's really little that a president has to do with our economic growth. I hear things about him shipping jobs off to China and doing this and doing that. Well, he didn't do that. GM didn't. President Obama didn't ship GM to China. GM wanted the lower cost items so they can ship it back over here to sell it at a higher cost. That's pretty much it. GM was on board for it. President Obama didn't say, okay, GM, you guys go to China. Dollar General, you guys stay here. Walmart, you go here. You go here. All this was for these people's interest. They didn't do anything. They fell in line just like everybody else, and everybody else will fall in line if somebody doesn't speak up. But that's just one of the things that I wanted to talk about. And I didn't write anything about that, so that's why it was probably a little jumbled. But I just wanted to get that out there. And if you're sick of political rhetoric, which is all you hear during debates and like I guess the RNC was soon, and it was disrupted by Typhoon Mary or Hurricane Isaac or Tropical Storm Isaac now, or whatever they call it now, light drizzle Isaac. I don't know. But, I'm sick of the political rhetoric. And, when a president says something that's rhetoric, we hold him to it, man. We know that he has nothing to do with it, but we hold him to it. And, I kind of feel for President Obama sometimes, even though, both parties are in for one centralized interests. I mean, if I were to be honest with you. But, I feel for Obama sometimes because, he was blackballed by Congress. I mean, they didn't want to do anything for him because they wanted their guy in there. And, it's a game. It's a game to them. And he wasn't playing ball, so they took their ball home. And Obama's just sitting there at the court waiting for somebody else to show up with the ball. And, here comes Romney with the ball, and he's going to go pick everybody but Obama, and Obama's going to be, doing whatever Bill Clinton does now. Doing speeches for $112,000 or whatever nonsense that he does. So basically that's all I want to say. Next episode is going to be a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk about globalism and what that is. It's going to be an interesting show, fun show. We're going to talk a little bit about food and food waste. And we might get into some other things. There's a couple things on the plate. I even got the third episode written. And just to let you know, guys, I do this all by myself. All by myself. So, if you have an idea or you want to get involved, you got a message and you don't have a YouTube channel, I'm your man. Let's get it going. This is the Vince Show and Vince Stefan. And until next